I asked you what you thought is some of the best editing advice, and I compiled a list of 7 things you can do instantly to bring your cutting skills to the next level. I want to preface this by saying that these, of course, are just opinions, and editing is an art form, so there are exceptions to the rules. And you might as well
do whatever you want.
1, 2, 3, listen.
Many editors start off with a fat timeline, and they whittle it down to uncover the good stuff. It's inefficient, and you likely settle for okay moments, because you actually have to use up energy to do some trimming. Instead, try building your scenes from the ground up with only your best shots and keep adding. You might find that this method is actually a tremendous time saver, and it triggers some really interesting storytelling.
That's the coolest fucking story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane. Can I hear it again?
This is a dog. What we hear and what we see should be one.
Flamingos hold their bills upside down while feeding.
If I talk about the migration patterns of flamingos and show this, it's kind of hard for you to process both.
What?
It's the audio-visual communication scissor. If the 2 pieces of information drift apart too far, they're hard to process. Wow. So cut picture and sound in a way that the information converges.
Forget about the fact you're coming a little late to the party. That's what I say.
But hit the Dresden. This place is dead anyway, man.
Just like a party, come late and leave early. Oftentimes, it makes sense to cut scenes short. Forget about the long-winding setup and an ending that fizzles. Get right to where it starts to become interesting. If you keep the tension up and prevent the audience from taking a breather, the overall flow of the story will unfold in a way so that the audience never has a chance to get ahead of it.
You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris?
But of course, if you have amazing setups that reveal character and engross the audience, disregard this rule.
The Royale with cheese.
And if you'd like to see me cut a scene that way, I'll leave a link here in the video description. Starting right in the middle of it, we're looking for tension. Treat a cut to mean, look over here. Every time you make a cut, you're telling the audience this matters. Also, you might have heard David Fincher talk about the importance of a close-up.
Every time you go to a close-up, the audience knows subconsciously that you've made an editorial decision, that you said, look at this is important. Everything that's a close-up is important, whether it's important or not. You can run an audience ragged by showing them things that are supposedly important.
And that leads us straight to tip number 5. Don't be afraid to use your editing power for misdirects. Showing things in close-up that are not important. Using wide shots to allow the audience to figure things out for themselves. Withholding information, like a reverse angle that would reveal how a character feels, are all tools you can use to keep your editing unexpected. Because storytelling needs to be plausible, yet surprising.
Dude, are you
Look for the eyes. That was one of the first videos that I made, the eye movement of the actors and how that can inform the editing.
Our blinking is tied to what we're thinking and how we're reacting to what's happening around us.
So in other words, when the actors blink, especially good actors, you could use that as a potential cut point.
People's gonna have to empty their own night jars is my point.
I try to hit the stop button just ahead of where they blink. So the frame before they blink. That's a way I have of tuning my reactions to the unconscious reactions of this actor to his character.
Don't you see I'm not a fake? Not about this.
This is from Walter Murch from his book In the Blink of an Eye, and I'll leave a link in the video description. I highly recommend this book. Feel your edit. There's no specific universal logical time to cut other than the moment it feels right to you. Editing is something that's very much intuitive, and the more you do it, the more you can trust your sort of professional emotions that you've developed. Your mirror neurons are very highly tuned, looking at things, watching things, and feeling things. So don't be afraid to make cuts that rationally make no sense, they just feel right to you. Yeah, I probably want another reaction shot of her. Thanks for watching.